being sick in prison, being sick in life, and you still got to show up. I wasn't going to make a video today because I'm really feeling ill. I think I came down with a cold, possibly a flu, body aches. You know the story. And it got me to thinking back when I was in prison. What did I do when I got sick in prison? And thinking back on it, there's only a handful of times that I can personally remember where I was sick in prison and I felt like I was suffering because you can't see a doctor. You can see a nurse, but the nurses don't care. They're going to tell you take 2 Tylenols and you're going to be all right. Basically, you lay back in your rack and you still got to go to work call, snotting, coughing, body aching, fever. You still got to go work that field. They don't have no sympathy. And it's the type of stuff you need to think about before you end up in prison. And so it got me thinking today, because I wasn't going to make a video today. I wasn't going to release a video because I'm not really feeling good. I said, you know what? I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up today. Even though I'm not feeling well and I don't have anything particular in my mind to make, I said, I'm just going to talk about being sick and what it's like to be sick in prison and sick in life. You still got to show up. Let's say you never been to prison, but you're not feeling good today and you're a single parent. You still got to show up and you got, young children. They still need to eat. They still need to be taken care of. They still need their diapers changed if they're babies. You got to show up and you don't have nobody to help you. It's tough. I remember seeing older people in prison die and they got sick and they didn't have nobody, man. They die in a prison bunk or in a prison infirmary and they just wake up to wherever eternity is for them and they leave their bodies in the prison bunk. And then if they're indigent, they bury them in a prison cemetery. They got 2 prison cemeteries in Louisiana now. Angola, which has always had one, and then you got another one at Hunt Correctional Center. And if you're indigent and you ain't got nobody in your life, they're going to bury you in one of them cemeteries with your DOC number. I don't even know if they put the name on the tombstone. They might. But I know they probably put that DOC number. You don't want to live that life. I was young when I was in prison. I had my help. So when I got sick, I was able to heal quickly because I was so young and my immune system was good. But I remember being sick in prison and man, my head would hurt. I would get that flu or that cold because dudes are in the dorm and they coughing and sneezing and the virus has went airborne and people are breathing in each other's viruses and sicknesses. And they getting, just sick sitting on that bunk, trying to lay underneath them covers and freezing, man. You know how it is when you shivering, you hot, but you cold, and you underneath that rack just shivering, shaking. And you thinking, Lord, help me. You know what I mean? You kind of stuttering, because you're so cold and hot and you sweating at the same time. And dudes in prison, they sympathetic and everything because that's your people that you're in the dorm with. Or if you're in a cell, single man cell, you just by yourself and you laying in that cell, you know what I mean? And you get a high fever, you might die in that prison cell alone, in that bunk, in that cell. And your family ain't never gonna know about it because your family died long ago if you're older. And that's what I wanted to get to. The elderly in prison, when they get sick, it's not a pretty sight. They die in prison alone. You see this Hall's cough drop I'm chewing? I remember these Hall's cough drops being on the store sheet. And so dudes will melt them Halls in some tea. You know what I mean? That tea that you can get, it's just that sugary water tea. And you melt these Hall's cough drops in that tea and you start making your own concoctions. And back when I was in prison, they used to still give you Sudafed, real Sudafed, not the fake stuff, the stuff you can't buy no more, that's Sudafed. And so dudes will mix that up and melt that up with some Tylenol or aspirin, whatever you could buy off the canteen sheet, because you could buy aspirin. And you mix that up and you take that and you just hope for the best. And if the nurse is compassionate, which is rare, because sometimes the nurses are not compassionate. They don't care if you suffer or not. 2 aspirins, go lay back in that bunk and die. You know what I mean? That's what you deserve. The nurses take it personal. And they got it hard because some of them nurses are females. And dudes go in there acting like they sick and they lusting on them nurses and they make it bad for the next man when he really is sick. So now them nurses grow a cold heart and they don't have no mercy toward nobody because they think everybody's lusting after them. But a dude's really coming there with a snot nose, leaking down their mouth, into their mouth, spitting up snot, you know what I mean? Freezing cold, shivering, got a fever of 112 degrees, near death, you know? And the nurse is going to give you 2 Tylenols and ain't going to call a doctor because she's going to say, you'll be all right. Go back and lay in your rack because she thinks you came in there to lust after her, but you didn't come in there to lust after her because you feel like you're about to die in this prison. And sometimes you just got to show up, you know? And so if you was young, you made it. I was young. I made it through prison. I was blessed to have my help. But dudes get old in there, you know? I know people who went back. They knew what it was like. They watched other old people get rolled out in a gurney, dead from a common cold that they could not get medicine from. And then they go back on the street, shoot that dope, and wind up back in prison. And now they crying and complaining that, oh, I'm going to die up in here. But you just got out. You just got out. Now you back in. I need to calm down because my fever's already hot and I'm not feeling well. Like I said, I wasn't even going to put a video out today. But I want to show up for y'all, for my audience, for my community, for the members of this channel, you know? And one thing I want to do on this channel is be authentic and be real and be sincere. I don't just want to, you know what I mean, script everything and give you some kind of Hollywood movie, because this ain't no Hollywood movie. This is the real life, man. It ain't got to be glamorous, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here chewing on this halls. I drank me a day Theraflu a couple hours ago. Now I'm thinking about prison. I'm thinking about all the people I still know that's in there. Some people who ain't never going to make it home. Some who are lucky and blessed to have escaped prison with a second chance by the skin of their teeth. They better come out here. You see people, man, online, and they flexing their chest up. You know what I mean? I'm the biggest, baddest dude, you know? And they shouldn't have got a second chance, but they did. And they still acting like idiots. What you got to prove, man? Remember? You could have been rolled out on that gurney, dying underneath that wool prison blanket that was used by so many other people. You know what I mean? You were rolled out that gurney stinking, stiff, going into one of them prison cemeteries. Dirt tossed on you. You know, Louisiana second line in prison. That's what you want? Yeah. When you sick, think about that, because you still got to show up in life. And so I said, you know what? I might not deliver the best video today, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to talk about something. In life, when you get sick, you have an opportunity. Do I show up or do I lay back? And if I show up, I might not be 100%, but I'm still going to be reliable. I'm still going to be authentic. And that's what I want to give you at the Pen and the Shank. You know what I mean? Authenticity. I want to bring something different to the table. I want to give you a channel where you can come and you could just hear somebody talk about the simple things in life, such as being sick and not really wanting to do anything, because I don't want to do anything today. You know, my wife is still working. She's doing what she needs to do today, and I'm just not at 100%, you know, kind of moping around. My head's hurting right now. I hadn't took my temperature yet, but I know I got to be, my temperature's higher. I'm hoping tonight I feel better. We'll see, man. But give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. And I hope I feel better so I can give y'all another one of those good stories tomorrow and throughout this weekend. Until then, I'm going to just eat my prison canteen Hall's cough drop. Let's get it.